Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with my old one. Most of the time I just leave it plugged in at home. Or when I go flying, the last time.
All right, folks. Let's call to order the Sylvania Township Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting. And could we have roll call, please?
Mr. Baldwin?
Here.
Mr. Schlachter?
Here.
Mr. Halbert?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Hayes?
Here.
And Daryl had nicely provided everybody with the minutes from the meeting of March 7th. If everyone's had a chance to review it, I'll entertain a motion to approve those unless there's any revisions or comments.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schlachter?
Yes.
Mr. Baldwin?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Halbert?
Yes. Moving on to old business. Right now, I don't see any.
I would like to,
Sure.
can I add something to I don't know if we want to talk about it under old business, but I would like to talk about the resolution 16040 that Sylvania Township
Sure.
Trustees passed the last meeting. I don't know when you want to put that into the agenda here.
That might be, I still think it might be new business, I'm thinking still.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we ever discussed
We
it.
can do it after they leave.
Yeah,
if
okay,
you're fine
yeah,
with that.
that's
I would like to
okay.
talk
All right,
about that.
Well, it should be in the minutes, so if we discussed it.
Yeah, it's going to be under new business.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll get back to that one then. So then we'll go ahead under new business and do a variance request for a side yard setback from 12 feet required respectively to 8 foot 5 provided for the property located at 4241 Robin Hood Lane. Before we hear the staff report, I'm going to ask anybody who's here that might be giving testimony on this case to raise your right hand, please. And do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll hear the staff report on the case.
Section 603 of the Sylvania Township zoning resolution requires a side setback of at least 12 feet for the main building in an A4 rural residential zone district. Repair it and construct an at-grade attached garage measuring 24 feet wide by 32 feet deep. The current subgrade garage would be then sealed off and used as a storage area. Aside from this requested variance, the applicant's other options include constructing a smaller garage, constructing a detached garage, siting the new garage off the front corner of the dwelling, siting the new garage on the south side of the property, or repairing and replacing the existing drain and retaining wall. Sylvania Township zoning staff is sympathetic to the frustration that the applicant has with the existing driveway/garage situation and acknowledges that the proposed garage, if this variance were to be granted, is unlikely to present any substantial detriment to the public good or neighboring properties. Staff also recognizes that the circumstances are unique and that this is the only lot in the area with a subgrade garage. However, the location of the garage and driveway were known to the applicants at the time of purchase of the property. The applicants are not without alternatives to this variance. While these options may not be preferable to the applicants for any number of reasons, they are nonetheless viable alternatives to a variance from the Sylvania Township zoning resolution. On this basis, the Sylvania Township zoning staff recommends denial of the requested variance from the required side setback of 12 feet as stated in section 603 for the property located at 4241 Robin Hood Lane.
Okay, thank you. Based on the staff report, any questions before we hear testimony? Anybody have anything for Daryl at this point? Okay, if not, we're going to ask if there's anybody here who would like to speak on behalf of this matter. Come on up to the podium and sign in, tell us your name, and if you'd like to present your case. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh, that's typically what happens, yes. So we'll ask you to come on and just sign in. Yeah, there should be a sign in up there for you. And then just tell us your name and we'll go from there.
There is a sheet, but not, I don't see a pen. Apologize. There's not a pen. Thank you.
think you ought to fill that driveway in and go all the way back. What's that guy next door gonna do? That can be right up there, you know that.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. What's your name?
My name's Carrie Tucker. My husband generally would take care of this, but he is in Singapore, so he could not be here.
Likely story.
Yes.
Always
I guess after reading the report that Mr. Grouse just read, we feel that the alternatives that he gave were not feasible alternatives to the situation. And we wrote up a few different reasons why they're not likely alternatives to our situation. The first thing that he suggested was constructing a smaller garage, and he gave a little more detail in his report. He said that a standard garage is 20 feet wide, and we did a review of all the houses on Robin Hood Lane using the Lucas County website, and as you know, Robin Hood Lane, all the houses were built in the 50s and 60s, and the average garage size for that time was 23 and a half feet. Some of them being larger, some being smaller. This is 2016. We're only asking to build a 20-foot or a 24-foot garage. We're not asking to build a 3-car garage, which in this day and age is typically what you would find in most neighborhoods. That's what they're building now. So we have a 24-foot garage, but it's subgrade. We just would like to build a 24-foot garage in replace of that current garage.
How long have you owned this house?
1 year.
Oh, you just-
Yeah, we bought it a year ago, and when we bought the house, they did not disclose that every time it rains, it floods. They said that at one time, in the time that they owned it for 15 years, that the snow melted so fast that it got water in it. But we've lived there for a year, and it has twice while my husband's been home, but he travels a lot, so I've been the one that's had to deal with it, and we've currently got quite a few boxes stored in there because we still haven't unloaded everything, and constantly, when it downpours, the water comes flying down that slope, and it goes right into the garage because the drain out there just can't keep up with it, so it is quite a mess out there. So 20 foot is not a standard garage size, and if you put 2 cars in there and try to open 2 doors, or open a door, you'll be hitting the car next to it, and so we have 2 vehicles in there that you're hitting each other, so anyways, that's the reason why a smaller garage would not be feasible. Constructing a detached garage, we're trying to keep with the look of the neighborhood, and if you go around that neighborhood, there is not a single house that has only a detached garage. There are many houses that have added a detached garage in the backyard. They have an attached garage that they park in, and then in the backyard, they've added one. But to have a detached garage that you face from the road, that's what you see. We don't feel that that is aesthetically pleasing to the neighborhood, and we're trying to do something that is going to keep within the look of our neighborhood and also please our neighbors as well. We don't want to have the neighbors saying, well, now our property value has gone down because you've put something in the yard that everyone's looking at, and we just don't
I
feel...
have a question. Have
Yes.
you talked to your neighbor on this side that you're going to put the garage?
Yes.
Do they have any issues with it?
They don't have an issue with an attached garage. They do have an issue with putting a detached...
But they don't have an issue with what you're proposing?
With what we're proposing, no, but when my husband...
Anybody else in here that's against what you're trying to do?
I'm the neighbor that lives right next door.
Yeah.
Are you opposed to this at all?
I'm for a detached garage, not a detached. Because if
Yeah.
it's detached, it's even closer.
Right, right, so, the other options were putting the garage at the other end of the house, the south end, front or backyard, and that's where our bedrooms are located. So if we put an attached garage at either of those sides of the house, we're going to be major reconstruction on the house, trying to walk into our bedrooms, master bedroom or our children's bedrooms, and then you have to completely relocate the driveway, which would bring it across our well that's in the front yard. It just is a completely
I think we understand.
not feasible options. And then the last one was repairing, replacing the drain and the retaining wall, and that's where we started in the beginning last year, but the quotes for repairing or replacing the retaining wall started at $20,000. And that still doesn't take care of the flooding, and we've worked on the drain twice, we've replaced the sump pump already, so we're still not dealing with the flooding issue. And that starts at $20,000. So we'd already decided that no matter what, we're going to remove the retaining wall, we're going to fill in the drain, and get rid of that problem. So now we just need to figure out the garage. So we really did spend many, many months exploring where can the garage go, how can we get rid of this problem, and this is the best option we came up with. And then we talked to the neighbors, and, we really worked on this a lot. So, and I do have, am I allowed to show you guys the documents? Because we do have a rendering of what we are proposing that we showed the neighbors. So if you want to take a look at these, that would be what we're...
Oh, it looks beautiful.
I have a question, is that on the property next door, is that their driveway? Is that your driveway right next to their driveway?
But let's not, in other words, we'll bring her up.
Is that, okay, is that
Ask
your?
her, yeah, you can ask her.
Is that your,
I'm sorry,
whose driveway is that to the right?
the one right next to it, that is her driveway. That's Andrea's driveway. So hers runs right next to our retaining wall.
Gotcha, okay, now I see.
So what do you do with the subgrade garage then? When you put this next to it?
It was going to be waterproofed along the sides, completely sealed off, and then backfill the area, and the subgrade one was just going to be turned into a storage area. We don't have a basement, so we were just going to use it as storage. And right now, our water heater, the well pump, everything's located in there, so it was just going to be turned into storage.
And that sump pump that shows on the site plan here, that's inside the garage?
The sump for the drain outside is located in the garage, yes.
Because that's the low point, because you don't have a basement?
Right, yeah, the low point is just that sunken garage, yes.
Is the rest of the house on a slab or a crawl?
Crawl.
Base? Okay.
Crawl.
Yeah, you're proposing the same materials, same, just ties right into the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thanks for taking the time that was going to be my question, had you seen a report? So obviously you had. Are there any questions for the applicant at this point? Let me see if she had any answers.
Yes. There is no drain in that driveway right now, where that arrow's pointed?
No, there is a drain in the driveway. We want to seal that off. Right now, there's a French drain in the backyard where the water from the driveway runs to, and we do not like that because anything that goes in that drain, oil from your cars, anything goes to that French drain, and that's our drinking water for us and all the people around us. And so we don't like that. So part of the work that we had quoted was sealing off that driveway drain so that it's completely closed off.
So you're going to have a room above this garage, correct?
A small room with some storage area.
Well, that wouldn't appear to be a small room on your drawing, because if your building is 30 feet long and 24 feet wide, and your dormer is right on the front and your windows are back here, it would probably be how deep?
The front, The front would not have any, it's just going to have a little small window, and then the back, just above where the washer and dryer and the utility area, so it would actually just be a narrow room just on the back part. So just some additional storage up there.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, I will ask if there's anyone else here that would like to speak on behalf of this matter. Please come on up. Any of the neighbors want to, as opposed to throwing questions out from to the gallery. I guess I would maybe ask if you know, if there is somebody you support or not support, you've bothered to come here, maybe we could ask you to mind just giving your support or whatever you feel on record would be very, very helpful, I think.
My name is Andrea Collins. I live right next door. It's my mother's home. She lives there. She's 88 years old. She's probably the last original person in the neighborhood, but I live there with her. I'm okay with them putting an attached garage. If it's detached, it's even closer to my property. There's not much room between there, but if it's attached, I still have some working room. So I'm okay with it being attached.
Anybody have any questions?
Does your driveway run right along your property line?
It runs all the way along, and you can see there's those bushes there, so we're right, yeah, it's all the way along.
So those are your bushes?
Well, it's like we share the bushes, we think, yeah. My property line is like right in the middle of the bushes. I think we put in the bushes back in the day.
So the zoning code calls for 12 feet between the property line and the structure.
Correct.
And you recognize it'd be 3 feet 7 inches closer.
Well, I still would have the 8 point something between, correct? Because they only want the 3.7, yes. Which it's hard for me to visualize where that's going to be, but I'm sure Garrett would, when he gets back, would show me exactly where the garage will end, you know, compared to my property, which would be... Yeah, so you see the bushes there. Yeah.
So it'd be 8 feet from the center line of them bushes to your left.
Correct, would be the side of their garage. Mm-hmm.
She's the most impacted. Any questions? Thank you.
No? Okay.
Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Fisher, and I am kitty corner neighbors to this property, and I'm also friends with the Tuckers, so I've been over there a bunch. I've walked the property line. I've seen what he's proposing, and it seems, you know, pretty minimally invasive from the neighborhood. Like they said, it would be the only one that is a detached garage currently. And just from walking the sight line and the property, I don't see any issues with it going there any more than a detached garage would. And I've been over there and seen the flooding and the issues that they've had, so I can attest to the problems that the subgrade garage does cause. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything more than what they did, but I definitely don't recommend against it. And then just in reading the report, you know, they did know at the time of the purchase, when they purchased it a year ago, and I've lived there about 5 years, so I knew the neighbors previously, and they expressed their concern with the flooding also. And then when I bought my house 5 years ago, it was from the original property owner, and I knew what I was doing at the time, but I've totally redone the entire house. So, I mean, you know what the property looks like. That doesn't mean you're never going to change anything. So, it looks like really the only reason for denial is just because they want something different. So I just want to say, in speaking with other neighbors in the area, I don't know anyone that objects, other than I've never met them before, so. Other neighbors that I've spoken with don't object either, so that's all I really have.
Thank you. I appreciate anybody. Thanks.
There aren't storm sewers on that street, are there?
Pardon?
There's some that look weird. I live on T. John, which is right behind there. There's no drains or
There's swales in the front yard.
Nothing in the street, you just had, they just had swales, right?
no drains.
Yeah.
It's all one septic.
Yeah, they never changed that. It's that way. Okay. All right, at this point, folks, we can entertain a motion, we can go talk a little bit, whatever you, good for entertaining a motion.
I'm okay.
Is there any discussion? Anybody else want to, I mean, a couple comments, I think the staff has done a good job of pointing out alternatives, which when you're asking for a variance, that's what we, really need to do to see is this, how necessary is this? My own opinion, I think what you're trying to accomplish is preserve consistently the character of the neighborhood, and there is some, in terms of the dimensions and what we have here, you're kind of, you have to live with what you have, the nature, it doesn't mean you have to live with something that's causing damage for forever, just things can be improved, but I do think that doing something detached now would be inconsistent with what is there, so to comply could be sort of detrimental to some of the other neighbors. That's just my thoughts and comments on it. If anybody else has anything else, and if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we entertain a motion to grant a 3.5-foot variance in the side yard setback for, what's the address is?
But just as submitted.
4241, Robert Lane,
Dan as submitted, so this way.
as submitted, yeah.
Second it.
Mr. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Schlachter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Helper?
Yes. Okay. All right, folks. Good luck with it. Okay, thank you. And we still have one order, new business. And Mr. Miller, I think, wants something we're gonna discuss. Yeah, we'll let these folks know. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Can I turn this off?
Yeah, thank you. We're still in some vision on. It's hot, too.
Is this going to be?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's on the record, yeah. Thank you.
I guess, you okay? I guess, I just want to have a little discussion on this, because I know 16040, which was the resolution maybe can you just explain that a little bit more, what they're doing? Are we requiring that for conditional use that they have?
Oh, I was wondering what resolution this was.
Yeah, it's for is it requiring the Lucas County Planning Commission? Is that a formal step in the process?
Yes, unless it's a home occupation, any other conditional use request would be heard by the Lucas County Planning Commission prior to being heard by the BZA. And they would make a recommendation only. They don't make any decision, they just make a recommendation of approval or denial.
Well, I guess my largest concern with this is that, first of all, I don't really support a formal step in that process. And I complained to Mr. Mahoney on this, and he told me that it was on the recommendation of this board. And I went through the minutes, I did not see any conversation where we recommended this to be a formal step.
It was discussed.
Who did you discuss it with?
I'm sorry?
Who did you discuss it with?
I thought we had discussed it, maybe not. Primarily it was at the urging of the trustees.
Did you get discussed about this?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Tim?
I would have to go back and look. It would have been months and months.
How about you, Hilbert? Apparently not you and me either.
Okay, maybe not. Yeah.
So you made a decision without our approval and said to the township trustees
No.
that, no, wait a minute, it was on the minutes, that you had talked to the BZA board and they had approved it. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. I mean, I complain because I think I think it's great to use them as a resource, but my personal feelings, I just think, I don't like the formal step. I mean, we're making them jump through loopholes for conditional use. I understand there's not that many conditional uses, but I don't think we should make things harder for people. I think it helps to have Lucas County's, Planning Commission's recommendation, but, I just personally don't feel there should be a step in there. And then find out that this board recommended it is a concern of mine, especially I was not involved.
I don't know that whether you did or not. I would have to go back and look.
Wait a minute, where are you going back and look, Darrell? Something stinks here. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking.
Yeah, you talked to, wait.
I wanted, this is.
You talked to the trustees and you said, no, wait a minute, you said in the meeting, wait a minute, let me speak. You said in the meeting minutes, in the township trustee meeting, that you talked to the BAZ. Is that correct or not correct?
I don't know.
Okay, you need to check that out, because I think that's what Neil Mahoney told me that you said. And none of this board have talked to you. So wait a minute, you're going off on a tangent here that you shouldn't be doing without talking to us.
So the trustees were the ones that wanted this request?
Yes. This all came about, actually even prior to the mosque incident.
Who brought that up to you?
Going back to the Mitchell Road nursing home, when initially it looked like they were going to go for conditional use as opposed to a zone change. And some of the trustees were upset that a decision like that would be just before the BZA and that there was no other review.
Who was upset? Who? Name the people that talked to you that was upset. That's what I want to know.
I'm not going to mention names of trustees.
Sounds like you're crayfishing there, Darrell. Real good time, in my opinion.
I have no idea what that even means.
Right.
And I've not seen the minutes from the action they took, so I don't know what was discussed or how it was brought up.
I was told by Neil Mahoney that that's what he said. I'm saying, well, I was out of town, so I can say that. But to have the trustees vote that on something that we belong to, on your recommendation that said we recommended it, revs me right up, Darrell. Ha!
Well, I guess in the future, personally, as a member of this board, I would like to have some formal discussion before a resolution like that is I think that's not too much to ask to actually have some kind of formal opinion on this. Even if we don't have to vote on it, but at least be involved in that conversation, especially when I go to complain about it and find out that we're the ones that endorsed it. So, that's my largest concern.
The other thing is what Neil said to me, is not everyone's going to go there. I says, who's going to make that decision? Not every commercial thing is going before the Plan Commission. That's what he told me. Only certain ones. I said, well, who chooses them?
Any conditional use with the exception of a home occupation.
That's not what he told me.
That's what's in the minutes.
Okay.
No, well, actually, that's what the resolution says as well.
Do other townships have a similar process where the county in which they reside?
No, they don't.
So this isn't something like statewide is done and we thought it was a good idea. This is strictly.
We get staff reports. That's part of the reason.
I'm sorry?
We get staff reports. That's part of the reason. It's sort of what we're asking the Plan Commission to do is look at it and make a recommendation. It's not binding on us, but that's part of the reason we have you. You're giving us a staff report.
Right, yeah, they would.
I think that did come up for discussion as to, I know not too long ago, whether we wanted you to continue to do that, and I think we unanimously said, yeah, we still want staff reports. So, it does seem like, that part of it does seem like they're adding another layer to what your job is and what you're already doing. So I don't know that I have a huge problem with it, but yes, it is for somebody who has a conditional use now, it is another layer. And I don't know. I'm not sure what the rationale is behind it. That's all.
How much time will it add to the process?
About a month, depending on how actually maybe not even, because the Plan Commission meets fourth Wednesday of the month.
So when is an application due for you?
So, I mean, it would kind of depend on, I mean, like, for example, they met last week on the 27th, and here we are, meeting on the 2nd, so, in that situation, it wouldn't be that quick.
Right, so it is going to add a
But-
month to the
Yeah,
process.
But certainly if it was only like a 2-week gap or something, then it'd certainly be turned around.
So I guess my only comment on all this is not whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I just don't really know, not sure any of us really know what the rationale was behind it, other than they're saying that it came from a recommendation that we made that
Right.
we didn't make. So, yeah, it would have been, and I guess I would even, on the record, it would have been nice if maybe the trustees had reached out to us and also asked if that is how we felt. It would have been nice to know that.
Well, I guess the procedure would have been all right if he would have came to us and we would have discussed it, and then we would have said, yeah, we go along with that, Darrell. And then you go to the trustee meeting and you tell the trustees, yeah, I met with the VAZ board and they think it's a good idea too. And we recommend it.
Well, if anything, I could go on the record saying that I think there's no ROI on adding 30 days to a process.
There's no what?
There's no return for them. There's no benefit in them adding 30 days to this process.
That's what the trustee said.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
I would always like that option.
This wasn't added for the benefit of the applicant, it was added for the benefit of the
Oh, that's for
township.
sure, yeah.
What would be the benefit for the township?
By having an additional review.
Would you still write a staff report?
I don't write a staff report for the county, no. I would for the BZA, yes.
Okay, so we'd get a staff report from the county and we'd get a staff report from you.
Yeah, you would get not only a staff report from the county, but whatever their recommendation was. Their staff does a staff report for them.
Okay, and then we would get your staff report and what you recommend.
Right.
Okay.
So the applicant has 2 stops, 2 presentations.
Right.
Correct.
And again, this isn't for home occupations, which are the more common conditional use. We didn't feel that somebody, cutting hair in their house or doing taxes or whatever. This is for the larger, the conditional uses, the generally, I don't want to say necessarily commercial, but like the mosque, something like that. A more intense use.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, all right. Anybody have anything else to add on this?
No.
Sure.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Schlocker?
Yes?
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Helberg?
Yes. Adjourned.
You guys.
All right, take care.
Are we off now?
Hold on, please.
Next time we're going through the paddle machine.